Jeff Gordon wins the Brickyard 400 for a fourth time. A dominating performance today by Gordon. A native Hoosier, his dream comes true. Tony Stewart wins the All-State 400 at the Brickyard. Is in sight, and the California kid, Kevin Harvick, wins the 10th Brickyard 400.
And you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets singing through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, everyone, welcome back to the CSR broadcast channel here. A special broadcast here this evening for the All-American League, the All-American Cup Series, I should say, here from Indianapolis. We are once again powered by Highline Racing Network, and we have Mr. Highline Racing Network with us here this evening. Tommy Rogers, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. We're looking forward to this race.
This is awesome. 80 laps here in the Gen 4 cars, the high horsepower package for these guys. 900 horsepower here for the Gen 4 cars. These cars are an absolute handful, no matter where you race them, Tommy. I've done quite a few of these races myself. Man, it takes a lot of throttle control to really get this thing started, or I should say, keep it pointing in the right direction up off these corners at high speeds down the straightaway. Well, these guys have a 5-minute warm-up or so I see here now. So, Tommy, let's give them the information for tonight's race. We got 80 laps, 200 miles, 3 green-white checkers. We're doing old-school NASCAR racing here, Tommy. No stage breaks. So that's going to be exciting. We saw with the MOTD series just how much pitch strategy played into that one the other night, Tommy. These guys only 4 sets of tires. to change here throughout this one. 75% fuel load. So when I was looking, it was somewhere around 34 to 35 laps. So, Tommy, thoughts? The high horsepower, this abrasive racetrack. Are you going to want tires long before you want fuel?
With only 4, it kind of depends. I think, obviously, if you get caught up in something and you spin them tires, you're probably going to have to change early. But if you can stretch it a little bit, I would definitely stretch them tires just a little bit. It's going to gain you spots coming out of pit row, and at the same time, you only have 4, so let's use them wisely.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and get a look from Google Earth here. These guys, it's just a massive, massive speedway here, Tommy. Built, I believe, in, 1909, right outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. A golf course right there. It just beyond the back straightaway is downtown Indianapolis. So flat corners, high speeds, long straightaway. Tommy, what are you looking forward to most from this one?
I'm looking for a good race. I'm looking to see how these guys are really putting these Gen 4s to work out here. I don't have as much experience as some of these guys, even as you in the Gen 4. So what I'm looking for is high speed racing. I'm looking to see guys trying to lock onto that back bumper. I want to see how they can really get to pushing.
Yeah, you got to be very careful with these Gen 4 noses because, if you're really good at working the throttle, you can get a little bit of draft going down, especially on these speedways here, or these long straightaways, I should say, here in these Gen 4 cars. Well, the All-American Cup Series here, we'll get a look at the point standings here this evening. A pretty close points battle so far throughout their season. We're kind of picking up about a third of the way through the series here. Oh, we're getting all kinds of notifications up here on the screens tonight. They're supposed to be muted. Anyway, but when I was looking at the points, Tommy, about 100 points separate from first all the way back to 12th.
That's a tight field, then, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that whatever happens in this one could really shake up these point standings. Well, like I said, we kind of picking this up a third of the way through the season here so far. They've been to Daytona, Chicagoland, and Michigan here. This is now their 5th annual Brickyard 200 here. As you see the rest of the schedule, you got Watkins Glen coming up, which with these high horsepower cars, that is going to really take some driver skill to get around that road course with these cars. You got to keep your speeds up in these Gen 4 cars to create the downforce for the grip. So if you're not good on on road courses, I think this is the week after this race. You really want to put in some laps here for, just some testing going on. Then you're going to Dover, which I've personally ran these Gen 4 cars several times at Dover. That is an absolute blast. They fly around that racetrack, lack of grip, but they are super fast. And they're off to, a place we're very familiar with, Talladega, Tommy. That is going to be a blast because, like I said, the nose of these cars get right up under the back bumper and can easily spin them out. I know the iRacing did kind of put the super speedway package on the Gen 4 cars when they do go to the super speedways with the taller noses to avoid that. But, Tommy, with these cars at 900 horsepower is absolutely flying around Talladega, that should be an absolute amazing race. Hopefully we're here to check that one out. And then Kansas, Richmond. Then you have the holiday break there. Then they head to Atlanta, Rockingham Motor Speedway, which that'll be awesome. Not on, well, Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that on the 2026 schedule for the Cup Series again?
I have to double check.
I'll have to double check. I know there is a rumor that Rockingham is coming back. I know Carson Hocevar maybe let the cat out of the bag on that on one of his streams. I know the schedule is out, so I got to double check for myself. And then the championship race down there at Homestead. And with the points already so tight, Tommy, got to imagine that when it comes time for Homestead after the array of tracks that they do have, I got to imagine that it's really, really going to matter for these guys out there.
You hit that right on the head. But it's looking like, as of right now, unless something else comes out, they're not saying that Rockingham is going to be on the Cup Series next year, but it will remain with Xfinity and Craftsman Series.
All right, well, there you go. So hopefully, as the cars are whizzing by as a warm-up, you can just hear the horsepower in these cars. Absolutely awesome. As these guys getting ready to go here, we'll get a live look in at warm-up right now, something we usually don't do here in the CSR broadcast channel, but, you know, just keep it on this camera here for a second, because, boy, these cars just ripping down this front straightaway, Tommy. Well, qualifying did end, like I said. They are in their little warm-up session. Not too much time left in that right here. We'll get a look from the old spectator cam here as these guys get ready to start this one off. But let's go ahead and let's get a look at our starting grid for this evening. If SDK wants to work with us here, that would be great. Come on, SDK. You know, SDK did this to us last night too. They it was a little bit crazy out there. I don't know. I was reading on forums that SDK was doing the same for some other people throughout the week. So we might have to reload the graphics here because I'll just give you let's see the short. Okay, so that one is working up there as they're under warm-up. But right now, Tommy, I can't get the qualifying to pop up for us. Oh, here we go. All of a sudden, you click nothing and it appears. So look at that. Curtis White beating Casey Carrington. I'm going to say Carrington by 2 1,000ths of a second in qualifying. Kyle Either. Again, these guys all the way back to 7th place, under half a tenth of a second from each other. So I did notice this is mostly A-class drivers out here. Ranging, I think the average is probably about 3.5K. We got a couple B-class drivers, but this is a really high talent level, Tommy. So I'm really excited this one as we continue to look through the starting lineup for this evening. As you see your top 18 here, we'll go through the rest of this grid all the way back to 28, Tommy. Under 0.3 of a second. I mean, that is impressive.
Yeah, these guys are coming out quick. This might be an impressive show the way these guys are driving tonight. I mean, we've already got a tight points race. Now we got a tight qual times. Hey, what can you ask for?
Yeah,
that's gonna be awesome.
This is going to be incredible. I mean, all the way back to 40th with Gavin Witt here, 1.2 seconds, and that could just be simply he got loose out of turn 2 and kind of ruined his qualifying time there. So, wow. I mean, these guys really getting after it here. You see the breakdown for this evening, 74-degree air temperatures. The track temp is at 101 here. So, not a super hot racetrack, Tommy, but not cool, not optimal for grip. And add a slick track, high horsepower. I mean, it could be a recipe for some ill-handling race cars.
Oh yeah, with these Gen 4s too, it's going to be interesting to see with how the aero plays as these guys are making those turns on this hot, slick track. Ooh, we might see a couple wrecks, but we'll see. We'll see. These guys seem to be, on it, so they might be able to hold their lines just fine. They may anticipate exactly what we're thinking.
All right, well, they're on the grid, so let's go ahead and throw it down for the command.
Got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Again, still the best command that we have available out here from NASCAR. I mean, that one is incredible as these guys begin to roll off the grid here. You see the 63 car, put it on the pole. Beautiful painted car. You got the 9 Casey Carrington out there on the outside in a Mark Martin style Ford. I guess this was still the Taurus because the Chevrolets are the Monte Carlos out there. So it's pretty cool to see these cars back on the racetrack.
It is. It's like this old school, ambiance of racing right now.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
It reminds me of some of the best times in NASCAR. These cars, every week, it was so entertaining. The stands were full. The one clip that either was the Tony Stewart win or the Jeff Gordon win that we played earlier, they said the attendance was almost 250,000 here at Indianapolis with these massive stands. Back then, if you didn't watch NASCAR back then, the stands actually wrapped all of turns 1 and 2 and all of 3 and 4, as you see here in iRacing. Now they have a lot of advertisements covering up some of the stands now. But yes, some of the best cars put in, the best racing that NASCAR put out for us here. Back in, I guess the Gen 4 was, what was that, Tommy? About 2003 to 2006-ish?
Pretty sure that's the exact time frame. Pretty sure.
Well, these guys getting ready to roll it off for the start of this one here. Curtis White pacing the field, heading down the front straightaway from the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Getting ready, they're in the zone. We are away for 200 miles here from Indy with the All-American Cup Series. They dive it off into turns 1 and 2. Right now, all is calm for now. No one I'm seeing really out of shape just yet. But Tommy, like I said, having in total 5 sets of tires for only 80 laps. Gotta imagine, as you see the 66 back there getting a little out of shape as he hangs on to that, but now the 8's going to get a look to the outside of him. Gotta imagine these guys, this is a abrasive racetrack, the high horsepower, high downforce. These guys are going to have to figure out how to make these tires last, because if somebody's doing a better job than you and makes it only on 1 or 2 pit stops and you have to go in for tires, you are going to lose a lot of ground here from Indy with that long pit road here. As they come in complete lap number 1, the 63 continues to lead. Let's pull up our full grid here so you guys can keep track of your favorite drivers as this one goes on here, as they once again go through turns 1 and 2, getting a look here at Casey in that 9-car 63 continuing to lead here. Some of these guys just trying to break the draft back here. You see the 66. I believe that's what he's trying to do this time, as he gets a little separation from the 8 of Kyle Ether here as they go around. And, just there's still a lot of cars side by side in this one.
You look there about mid-pack. You got a couple guys. It looks like they're probably going to be pushing it 3 wide here any second. It looks like that second pack that's kind of drifting back there. Looks like I see a few guys getting a little aggressive back there.
We're looking here now at the 22 of Craig Martin here, just kind of falling in line from Canada. Yeah, you see it here just in front of Craig. Craig, yeah, as we were looking on board there. Now they're starting to single file out. Maybe, like you said, with tires mattering, you got to try to get those spots while you can, while the grip is good, and then kind of settle yourself into a rhythm out here with these cars as these guys are blazing down the straightaway here. I'm just curious, what are these kind of speeds are these guys hitting at the end of these straightaways? Well, there's nobody better to go and check than the leader of the race. Still 155 miles an hour back on the throttle, almost 165 coming out of turn 4. I got to imagine we'll see speeds close to 200 miles an hour getting it down the straightaway here. Oh, well into it. He backs out at 199, getting into the corners all the way back down to 154. So these guys, definitely a lot of throttle, but a lot of brake and rolling it throughout the corners here, Tom.
definitely are. With that 25, 30-mile-an-hour change right there, hey, we're going to see who's actually able to save those tires and who's going to burn them up into those turns. Those guys that are able to conserve those tires a little bit now, those are probably going to be the guys that are pushing the top 10 here at the end of this race.
Absolutely. Sometimes, if you're somebody like Curtis White and Casey Carrington, you want to put a little distance on you in the field. You put on the fastest laps in qualifying. See if you can get out there while the tires are fresh for the first 4, 5, maybe 6 laps. Push it. Try to get those tires hot. Try to push it before they get hot and the wear starts to increase on them. Give yourself a little bit of a cushion. So then, it depends. How many laps of testing did you put in? Did you do a long tire run? Do you know what about lap times you should be running to still be conserving your tires, but not letting the field, catch up to you or losing too much track position? I mean, that is a big thing for these guys here on these speedways.
Absolutely. And watching Curtis White right now, you watch him as he comes around this turn here. He's probably going to slide up just a little, but it looks like he's managing the tire and he's sliding it just enough, bringing himself right up to the wall. This guy's in the zone right now. He's just flying around the track.
Yes, he is. I mean, that's the reason he's leading this thing as the car gets a little bit of a brush of the wall back there. I think that's going to be Dayton Taylor there in the 99. Didn't look like he hit it too hard, but definitely saw some smoke somewhere around the 99. Don't know if it was him. Not seeing any damage if it was. So maybe getting a little bit lucky there. These cars were great. You can wreck them. There'd be guys with sledgehammers, cut-off saws, putting these things back together with Bondo and Barrett Bond tape. I miss these cars a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of the next gen. In real life or on here, they seem to, you tap the wall, all of a sudden you got 4 minutes of wheel damage, you're in and off pit road, and it's kind of your race. These cars are a lot more forgiving as far as the construction of them, Tommy. But as you know, as you turn some laps in these cars, you cave in one of those fenders, boy, the handling changes a lot.
It does, and you just look at the whole front end of these cars, and you can just tell, if you mess up anything around that, that fender, it's really going to throw that car off. It's just, the aerodynamics of how it was designed. It really wasn't designed, to be as forgiving as it tends to be, but as long as you keep that fender over the wheel pretty clean, keep those splitters.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a look at Justin Thompson here in the 3. The Dale Earnhardt Jr. Throwback when he was in the Busch Series here, but he's got the Good Wrench Plus on there in the style of the Dale Earnhardt paint scheme. So kind of a nice job throwing both those paint schemes together. And then right behind him, Alex here in the 29 with a throwback Kevin Harvick scheme as well. So pretty cool to see these guys kind of doing some throwback schemes. Also with the 26 here going down the front straightaway, the old Jamie Mack style Crown Royal car that he has going around here. So pretty neat to see some of these paint schemes on these cars throwing it back.
These old cars, even the 87s, yeah, we can throw candy paint jobs and we can do all the cool stuff to them, but when you're watching these old cars, they have the old paint jobs, it just feels real. And that's what I love. I like it when it feels and it looks real. That's what it makes it just that much cooler. Absolutely.
These guys getting it done out here so far tonight. We'll check in with the guy pulling up the tail end of the lap here, the 65. Pretty well off the pace right now. Looking like he's about 30 or so seconds behind. Not sure if we had any trouble with the 65. Not seeing any damage right now. Maybe just, some early laps being turned for Elijah here and just kind of trying to find his rhythm. It is an 80-lap race. I just don't know if you want to get this far behind this early. And then Ian Silva here in the Taco Bell looking car in the 51, just about a straightaway in front of him. Oh, Gavin there. Whoa, he had that thing slideways heading into, I believe that's turn 2. Did a good job hanging on to that. And, we're seeing some discrepancies here from some I ratings. We got some 5K, but then some of these guys down around the 15K. Some, Tommy, I'm also looking in their Discord. Some are relief drivers for some of the regulars that can't come in, just coming in here, turning some wheels, trying to get these guys some points in that close points battle. So maybe I'm not sure. I got to check here again in the Discord some of the regular drivers, but maybe some of these guys got thrown in for their buddies last minute, and they're just out here just trying to hang on to it. You see Craig Martin, we know from MOTD right here in the 22 there, Tommy.
Yeah, I saw him there, and as soon as I seen his name, I was like, MOTD guy right there. So he's accustomed to, you know, these super speedway type tracks, this high speed. So he's going to be a competitor. He was a competitor all night Tuesday night in the MOTD. So I'd look for him to really go out tonight too.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, another throwback car in the Motorcraft. Wood Brothers 21 there as the 18 of Josh Dillon taking a look on the inside. 21 doing a good job defending right there. This sometimes can be considered a single lane racetrack right there, but 21 getting a pretty good run off of 4 down the front straightaway, getting a draft from the 80 right in front of him. Going to be able to defend that position.
We'll see if he can defend that position, that's for sure. But I don't know. With all these guys coming up quick, it's going to be a fight here soon.
Absolutely, and we are 11 laps into this one. Still out front, Curtis White and Casey Carrington here. Carrington. Yes, I said that right. I might be getting myself all messed up. Thomas Stokes here in the 66, still defending P3. Michael Mullins here has gained a spot since from the start of this race right now in the 64 car. And then Kyle Ether down 2 right now, but still finding himself inside the top 5 right now. Going to go ahead and go look again at that 26 car because right now he's on the move. He is the biggest mover of the race right now, up 8 spots from the, I believe it's going to be, the 26 starting position. Here this evening, he's up 8. Let's see if we can get that graphic up for you. There we go. Yeah, started 17th, started 16th. So on the move going forward. Is this a guy maybe who did those instead of looking for the short speed, maybe just spent most of his time in practice and testing, just working on the long run because 12 laps in, he continues to move forward.
Hey, and he's probably following his strategy, and if that's the strategy he set forth, as long as he definitely wants to stick with it early. We haven't had, a whole lot of change, from the front to back. So I would stick with it. There's no point in deviating off of strategy at this point. Now, 50 laps, 60 laps, we may have to...
Oh!
I think he's doing all right.
A big slide there off of turn 2. I think the 29 just jumped out of the throttle, let him catch it. Right there, another big slide for the 26. Almost contact with the 29 there. So, as we're bragging about him, now struggling to find some grip up off the corners here. Another guy, again, we spoke about just a little bit ago here. Justin Thompson in the 3 car started 24th, finding his way up to 15th. And this is going to be something, Tommy, that to keep an eye on throughout this run. Because like I said, no stage breaks. So the guys the 3 and the 26, are they pushing it right now? Are they just trying to burn up this first set of tires? Like you said, strategy is we got some 3 wide action a little further back here as they going into turns 3 and 4. And there they go. There's going to be the 53 is going to make a hard contact with the outside wall. It looks like most are going to miss the 53 as they go around, but that car has definitely got a ton of damage there. They were 3 wide getting into the corner. Unfortunately here at Indy, that does not always work out, Tommy, as we're going to go ahead and take a CSR broadcast. Another look at this one, instant replay, whatever you want to call it. Going 3 wide, then I believe that is going to be the 09, yes, and that top car going to stick it in there 3 wide. As they get into turns 1 and 2 down here. If you're the 53, unless your spotter's telling you, do you even know that car's down there? The 07 just trying to give some room. And yeah, the 53 is just trying to make the corner as if he didn't know they were 3 wide. The 07 trying to give room to the 09 down there. Gonna get on the brakes, but it's gonna overcorrect into the wall. Nose in hard right there, Tommy. A hard lick for the driver of the 53.
The 53 definitely came down. I think he might have thought he was clear of the 07, but I'm not. But who knows? The 07 looked like he was starting to come up too, maybe trying to fall in line behind the 53. Either way, we had two guys that touched bumpers, and we got our first wreck of the night.
Yeah, as these guys now, we'd like to get a live look here as they catch the pace car. Because here, Tommy, we'll let you make the call. We'll see who comes down pit road. Do you think it's too early, or do you think cautions are going to be few and far between at this point? I think you're going to see most of the leaders on pit road here. 12, 13 laps in. Like we said, about 30 laps on fuel, but you do have 5 sets of tires. I think at this point you got to take advantage of it, right, Tommy? You got to go grab those 4 fresh tires.
Oh, yeah. These guys are now lap, 14. They'll be going to 15 here shortly. I mean, they're halfway through they're pretty close to halfway through a fuel run. So I think at this point, I would say 90% of these guys are probably going to be pitting, and the 10% that don't probably should have.
Yeah, as we're getting a look here now, I wish the scoreboard, when you're spectating these things, change. I know when you're in the car, it is live. I wish here from the camera angles that it does. But yeah, it looking like the entirety of the field making their way onto pit road here as you get a look at these guys going down. A narrow pit road as well, Tommy, here at Indianapolis, not what we're accustomed to at Talladega. So do we see some contact as everyone gets into their box clean, but coming out, it could be a whole different story.
It might. Definitely might. Hopefully we don't have anybody getting into each other on this in this pit stop, though.
As you see a good majority of the field now, looking like the 63 is still going to win the race off of pit road, so not seeing any major changes on the race off of pit road here. So looking like a good majority of this field just went ahead and just threw the 4 tires on it there, Tommy. Looking like no one wants to, really give up anything here. We've seen a couple guys tailor up 5 spots on pit road. Robnet there. How would you say that in 17th there, Tommy?
I would say Rob. Well, I would say Rob Nett.
Yeah.
I've never seen that last name.
Well,
Rob Nett.
He's the guy that was just 3 wide in that incident. He's up 10 spots right now off pit road here. So it usually takes a lap for us to get our pit stop times here. They got to cross the start-finish line again for SDK to kind of update. So we'll be able to see who took 2, who took 4 on that stop at out front, still the 63. We probably should have checked in beforehand. Don't really want to bother these guys as they are, as they're under caution. I know a lot of the series, for the most part, are okay with us bothering these guys here while they're under the yellow flag. They are a little bit of an extended, they're going to have an extended one just because of the long yellow flag laps here. So you know what, Tommy? I'm gonna see here. I'm gonna see if we can get the leader of this race, Curtis White. It's Craig and Tommy up in the booth. Do you mind if we bother you for a minute?
Not at all, boys. What's up?
How's it going? Well, I think I should say I know how it's going out there on the racetrack. Dominating this one so far. Opted for 4 tires there. Were you starting to feel the car get a little bit out of shape as that run went on, or are you just hammering down right now?
No, the car feels pretty planted right now. It helps that I'm out in clean air because the turbulence with these cars, especially with this last build, has gotten really out of whack. So getting the pole was really helpful for me. Hopefully we can keep this thing green. I can really build up my advantage even further.
Yeah, you're out there dominating.
I ain't used to this. I don't know what to do with my hands. I tell you.
You're just cruising out there, man. It seems like as long as you stay in the front of the pack right now, it looks like you're gonna be doing just fine. You see how you're separating, with Carrington behind you. You guys are keeping just enough space to be safe. But do you think he's gonna make a push there before long on you, or what?
He might, but he might have his hands full with the dirty air. So I'm gonna be trying to defend as much as I can. But
All right. We'll let you get back going. You're getting ready to go green. Good luck, buddy.
appreciate it, gentlemen. Take care.
Curtis White there in the 63. Well, I appreciate him letting us bother him there. We're just Tommy, I'll let you get the start of this one because I drag him back down to his team there. A lot of guys up here in their respective chats. So, Tommy, take it away here. We'll keep it on Curtis Green, but you got the call.
Pace car's in. Green flag's out. Curtis White's jumped to the high side, just as we thought he would, right there in front of Carrington. And they're off. And back to the bottom. We're back racing, boys.
Yeah, they're Curtis White taking off already through turns 1 and 2. Already got about a 2-car length advantage here, and it looks like he gets a real good run out of 2s. We got some guys around in the back. We got some cars around looking like the one's going to go down. Just going to tap the inside wall down there as the camera moves on a Stephen Miles there. Does not bring out the yellow, but he is going to have some nose damage there. Try to see who else was around you. The 53 still trying to get his repairs done there. Couldn't tell who went with him here. Don't really want to go to a replay just yet, but I think we're going to have to because we're not going to get a yellow flag for this one because he spun down to the inside. Must just be the iRacing cautions here. Yeah, it's the 01 to the inside looking like, the 11 may have got loose in behind, but no. I think the 01 just going to try to tuck in behind there, Tommy. And, just not quite clear.
I'm surprised that happened this early, though. Come just after they went that green, and to get into it like that, that's detrimental to these guys, especially without the caution coming out.
Yeah, and as the 53 sits on pit road, leads me to believe they have 0 fast repairs. So as he sits there, now you're the 1 car, you're way off the pace there. Now you just put fresh tires on the car. You just went for an elongated slide, and now you have nose damage. A lot of strategy going to have to be played here for the driver of the 1 car after that big slide. I bet you he's hoping and praying for maybe another 10-lap stint and another yellow because he doesn't want to just completely waste this set of tires, but he also is going to want an opportunity to fix that car.
Yeah, I just seen the replay. The 01 definitely slid up and took the one out there. It didn't look like it was intentional. It looked like he just didn't realize he was there, and he was trying to slide up to get into position. He just took the 1 car out on the quarter panel.
Just not quite clear, as they say. Well, the 99 now still continuing his march to the front here as you see the, again, another throwback car, the old Kurt Busch looking 97 there to the inside, a teammate of the 26 there, the old Roush. I guess technically now it's Roush Fenway or Brad Keselowski. Yeah, I'm sitting here stuttering on my words, what they turned into there. But the 99 up 6 positions from his starting spot. The 09 there that we saw involved earlier up 13 spots from his starting position. And the 3 just continuing his march up to the front. He is now up 11 positions here as we're on lap 21 of 80. Well, Tommy, I want to get back up here to the leader because he has stretched it out now to about 0.8 of a second. So he's really getting gone here. I want to take a lap with the driver of the 63 and just kind of get a perspective from the cockpit view of, just is it as smooth as he's making it seem here as they go down into turns 1 and 2?
Oh yeah, as soon as you go, I'm getting my notebook out, ready to take notes on how the 63 is really doing this.
I mean, he gets it right down there, almost on the concrete strip there. Just gives it a kiss where it slides a little bit, but the big thing right there. That is how you're going to save your tires. Smooth on and off the throttle. But you notice his hands it appeared that they were going to the right, but with the offset in these Gen 4 cars, he's just really right here. The wheels are pretty straight. Right there gives a little bit to the right, but that is not going to burn the tires off because he's not sliding the rear end off the corner. Right here as he's coming back to complete this lap. That's about as smooth as you can be around this racetrack. When you start turning to the right, it means the rear end is coming around on you, and that's when you really burn the right rear off of these cars. Just absolutely stellar performance here for the driver of the 63. Well, he was talking about all the turbulent air that these cars do create here. So we got some more action in the back. And yeah, like I said earlier, with the downforce meaning so much on these cars, when you lose that by being in line, it definitely it makes it a little bit more chaotic here. We'll go see the difference and how it looks for some of these guys. You see the 26 here, the onboard shot here as he's trying to get into the corner here. You know, he's fighting it. He's to the right there, a little loose, especially being up under another car. Seem like these guys, you really need a pretty big run to complete the pass right now because I think grip just isn't there in traffic right now.
No, you definitely can see the grip's not there. These guys are playing it safe. They're not bumper to bumper. You know, they're keeping their distance, but it looks like, you know, with I'm wondering if the 4 and the 26 are partners. The way they've been running together, it seems like they might be teammates.
Oh, the 2. Oh, you saw the wheels turn into the right there, but he's going to hang on to it as well up off the corner. I didn't mean to cut you off, but whoa, what a big moment. Oh, is there going to stack up again? The 2's going to get hit from behind, but somehow the 06 and the 02 don't go around. I think the wall kind of helped him out from turning him down the racetrack, but now losing a ton of momentum on the outside, and he's trying not to get run over from behind the 2 with his hands full right now. A look on board with the driver of the 2, Zachary Moretz? I think I'm going to say Moretz. That's what I say. Now, again, with these Gen 4 cars here, as soon as you slide them with the horsepower these things are creating, it gets those temperature and those tires hot quick. It could take you, Tommy, a lap or two to really start to find your rhythm again.
100%. These guys, especially, you know, as these guys are running, these tires are wearing, and I just wonder how many guys actually did take tires or on that last pit.
Well, our graphics should be able to tell us, hopefully, if SDK wants to work with us here. We're going to go pit stop time here. Looking like your top 20 all opting for those 4 tires, all around that, the average, I guess, stop time of the 14.5 seconds. So, you know, we'll see here if we can, let's see. I'm going to see if we can go maybe more than the top 20 here. There we go. So, yeah, all the way back to 30th. These guys all said, give me 4 tires.
That and they've got 5 sets, you said, huh?
Yes, the race they started the race, the set they started the race with, and 4 additional.
Okay.
So now the other thing's going to be here, Tommy. Like we said, about 30 to 38. I'm going to assume here for fuel on these cars. We're already 11 laps in, so if this stays green, these guys are going to have to make a judgment call of coming down pit road. And, you know, they're going to have to try to stretch this set of tires basically as far as they can go to get all the fuel out of it, because they're going to be right at the mark to then make it possibly to the end of this race with one more stop.
It is true, and I'm sure several of these guys, crew chiefs, are telling them that right now. Like, hey, man, you're on the cusp. If we have an opportunity to save a little bit, let's make sure we're saving it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you see, the battle for the lead here, Tommy, starting to tighten up. The 63 had opened it up to almost a second as we were going through the field here. But the 9 of Casey now right back on the back bumper, 0.3 of a second off the lead. But as we talked about, the turbulent air, it's one thing to catch him. It's going to be a whole different story to then get around him with not as much downforce on the nose of that 9 car coming up off these flat corners.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch there. Take a look here at Carrington in that 9 car as he's trying to see exactly like what's he doing now slightly different than that of, White up in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, is it something he found on the racetrack? Is there a groove that maybe he's working a little bit better? Maybe he was just saving just that little bit, the opening part of this run, where now we're 12 laps in, and the handling maybe starting to fade just a little bit on that 63. I'm noticing the 63 isn't quite as low throughout the corners right there on 1 and 2 as he was when we were on board right there. He's close to that concrete strip, but not quite touching it as he was. A little bit of a wiggle from the 9 here. So now the gap opening back up. Now is the air just playing that much of effect where the 9 is starting to catch. But as soon as he gets within that 2 to 3 of a second margin, that turbulent air is just upsetting the 9 car. It's like, he loses a ton of momentum there in that quarter. He almost 3 tenths lost right there. And not far behind now coming in the equation is Michael Mullins in the 64. He's starting to catch these guys.
Oh, yeah. I've been watching Mullins. It looks like he's been running a pretty nice race so far. It looks like he's kind of monitoring when he's going to, if he's really going to put the pedal to the metal there and maybe try to push on the 9 as the 9 scrapes the wall just a little. And if you keep an eye on the 9 and the 63, it looks like the 9 is starting to run a slightly higher line than that of White in the 63 car.
Yeah, we'll get a look on board here as he dives it off in this corner. Yeah, the 9 now down low, the 63 kind of up off the bottom there just a little bit. You can just hear the throttle, and you just see the outside of the right glove there. A lot more wheel input going into the leaders here coming up off the corner. So got to think grip already starting to fade on these cars as we're only about 14 laps into this run. So for now,
that is true.
For now, the lead kind of holding steady between the leaders. I should say your top 3 all separated. They're kind of giving a 10th, taking a 10th. They're saying in somewhere right between the 6 to the 7/10 of a second, and then Mullins in that 1.3 to 1.4 range. It seems like the 9 is kind of struggling off of turn 2, but making up a little bit of time in turns 3 and 4. Tommy, if you had to pick, where do you want to be better at? Do you want to be better in turns 3 and 4, or you want to be better in turns 1 and 2?
Personally, I want to be better in 3 and 4 because as we come around towards 80, I want everything I have. I want to be as good as I can be as I'm coming out of 4 for sure.
Absolutely. With these long straightaways, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I want to be able to, baby it through 1 and 2, but I want all the momentum coming out of turns 3 and 4. You see in the checker flag, you're seeing the white flag. I want to see myself gaining on the guy in front of me as we're coming down to it. Well, just want to give a shout out to everyone checking in. I see some guys up here, Justin Thompson, TGG, up there in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in here. Everyone on Twitch as well tuning in here this evening. Kyle Cameron, we see you up there in chat as always. Tony Taters as well. We need some boogity, but you know what? Tony, you are right. We definitely need some boogity clips up in here. We'll be adding that to the repertoire. Also, maybe we'll just make Tommy Rogers say boogity when they go green. What do you think, Tommy?
I can give it a shot once. I might need to practice it though.
Well,
I need to look in the mirror.
Watch yourself. Now we're seeing the 63 just ever so slightly starting to pull away from the 9. So a little bit of a cat and mouse game up here for the lead. But back here, we still have guys all over each other right here. Not really much separation from just outside the top 10 right now. But while we do that, while we have a moment here, Tommy, let's just go ahead and go through the top 10 here. Obviously, we had Curtis White, Casey Carrington, Michael Mullins here in the 64, Tommy Stokes in the 66, riding P4 right now. Kyle Ether, after losing 2 spots on the opening bit of this race, just holding steady still within the top 5 there. Mike Hudsby in the 6, he's up 7 spots as Dayton Taylor continuing his march forward here in the 99, up 7 spots as well. Matthew Weeks here in the 11, riding P8. Jacob Thornton in that 97 machine, riding P9. And Dylan Rosenberg right where he started in 10th in that 91 machine. But the 09 putting pressure on as they head into 3 and 4. The 91 trying to hang on in the top 10. The 09 trying to take it away.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got to say, though, what really stood out when you started talking top 10 was as soon as you did it, Taylor in that 99 car said, boom, I'm taking another spot. He's up 8 spots right now, and he's in the top 10. Yeah, you got Husby sit up 6, but hey, Taylor just passed him. He means business.
Yeah, Taylor continuing his march now, sitting just outside the top 5 here, riding in P6. Seeming to get stronger as these runs are going on. If this stays green flag, could the 99 be a contender for this one as he continues to just chew away at these guys right now? We do have some cool stuff right here, so let's bring it up. Let's bring up his last lap time compared to the leader. He's just about 0.2 of a second off, but, not bad for a guy who's stuck in dirty air right now, only being 0.2 of a second off the leader's pace.
It's not bad at all. And you also are going to have to keep an eye out just on the outside of that top 10. We didn't get to talk too much about there was, Robnet. Where did he just go to? He in the 09. I mean, he just moved into the top 10. He's up 17 positions already.
Yeah, he continuing his march forward there. After that 3 wide incident, he got his race back where he wanted it. Let's put it that way. Moving the right direction. He's actually cracked himself inside the top 10 now when he got around the 91 position, 91 car, not the 91 position here. As you're going to see, he started 27th up to 10th right now. So some of these guys, as the green flag runs have carried on, really starting to show and flex some muscle out here.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be flexing their muscle. We're pushing up on halfway. There's guys sitting in those cockpits right now rolling up their sleeves. They're ready to go to work now. They're warmed up, they're in the zone. It's on. These guys are ready to go now. The 63 though, still carrying this.
Yeah, he's now pulling away to a 1.1 second lead there. So maybe a little gamesmanship gave the 9 some hope just to take it away.
Maybe.
As we got some guys now making their way on pit road, Thomas Stokes going to be the first of them coming down pit road. Well short of what the fuel mileage would be here for these guys. Only 22 laps in, but dragging some more guys with them. So looking like fuel is not going to be the issue tonight. It is just going to be all about those 4 Goodyear tires. I believe we have, let's check back here, Ian Silva in the 51 on pit road, as well as the 20 of Trevor McLaughlin here, as the pylon likes to block our view here. Get a look at that Hot Wheels machine on pit road. So some guys making some early stops here. Could this be part of the strategy? And I believe it is, because now the 9 of Casey Carrington getting onto pit road. Michael Mullins as well. Mike Hugsby is also, and they're going down the lineup so fast. I'm having a hard time clicking on them here. You see them on pit road down here, right here. So a lot of now the leaders making their way on pit road. But now this is something we'll have to keep an eye on, because the 9 beating the 63 on pit road, how much ground is he going to make up with those 4 fresh tires?
I'm looking forward to seeing that. And when is Curtis White going to pit now? That's the question.
Yeah, I think this is going to force Curtis's hand here. He's going to have to come down pit road here in the next lap or two, because he is not going to want to give up all that time. And yeah, here he comes this time by, now making his way onto pit road, getting on clean here. Now looking like the rest of the guys who were inside the top 10 is a good majority of the field now pitting with the leader here. You see it a little further back. The 21 getting on a little hot back there, but all is good as we go back here. Look a little further. They're 3 wide getting to the pits. It's a narrow pit road. Got to say, somebody's got to give there as they get onto pit road. All clean so far for all the lead lap cars. Now Zachary in the 02, who we saw sliding around earlier, going to inherit the lead with a 14 just in behind, in the 12 of John here in the Jim Beam Chevrolet, going to be riding in P3. So unfortunately for these guys, I think they're going to be giving up a lot of time on track by continuing to stay out here on the racetrack.
Yes, I would agree with that statement for sure.
And as we look here comes Casey now, completely up to speed with the 63, still trying to get on and off pit road here. So is the 9 going to carry the momentum? Is he going to now make up all that time and get back by? You see him here trying to catch the draft, but the 63 doing a good job on and off pit road will maintain that lead. He only gave up about 0.8 of a second by pitting a lap later than the 9. So Curtis White just really putting it on these boys tonight.
Yep. And hey, you see it. They pitted on separate laps, but where are we at? We're at the Curtis White with Casey Carrington right behind him once again. We now got John.
As we have a yellow flag on the racetrack. Did you get a chance to see who it may have been out there on the racetrack? I don't have any notifications for anybody around right now. Looking like Brad Delphus on pit road. Gotta go ahead and look kind of back through the field here. Not seeing anybody around. Trying to quickly go through it here. But I don't see an incident on the racetrack. Could this be an accidental push of the button?
Oh, no. I'm looking too. I see the yellow flag when it came out at the 43:39 mark, but I'm not seeing. We had James Silvers, who passed Dylan Rosenberg for P14, and Mike Mullins passed Zachary Murtis for P4, but I did not see what caused this caution. We are going to investigate it a little bit, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through here. Kind of what went on to 12, looking like he stayed out on the racetrack out here. He is going to be in the lead right now. The 6, I think, unfortunately, is going to be trapped 1 lap down. Yeah, I'm trying to go through here quickly, just seeing if we have an off track or anything like that. I'm just getting the enter and exits off of pit road. Yeah, we might have to. I wonder if this was just a button, an accidental button push there from the admin team. Yeah, just maybe there, Tommy. Maybe we might just have to go ahead here into the chat and grab somebody and get an answer.
Might have to.
Well, while we got a chance, the guy we were talking about, Justin Thompson, here in the 3. Justin, it's Craig and Tommy up in the booth. How's it going, buddy?
It's going.
It's going. All right. Well, we've been talking about you because you have made a mad dash to the front of the field here in this one. What's your key to success right now? You just finding success on the long run with the old tires, or you just bad qualifying effort, just trying to get back to where you think you should be in the standings?
Bad qualifying effort. Now I've got to go to the pit, get my left front fixed, because that's been happening right in front of me. So.
All right, so that was one of our questions here. We didn't see anything happen on the racetrack. Maybe you could fill us in out here. What brought out the yellow flag this time?
We were coming out of pit road on cold tires, and the two in front of me, Silvers and Rosenberg. Rosenberg missed turn 4. Silvers went underneath him. Rosenberg got arrow looped and spun across Silver's nose, and then ended up parked on my nose. So,
all right, we did see a little bit of right front damage, so appreciate it. So now, after having to make another pit stop, what does that change your entire strategy now moving forward to try to get back through this field?
Oh yeah, now it is going to be a mad dash. I'll be driving like a madman the rest of the race.
Well, it kind of already looked like you were the way you were slicing and dicing your way through the field. So, it's going to be fun to watch you kind of make your way back through. So good luck getting back through the field in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give it the best I got. We'll see. Hopefully it works out.
Justin Thompson, yeah, like you said, man, he's been bad qualifying effort trying to get back up there. I'm going to go ahead and go back and through. We were seeing some on and off pit road things. I think what were some of the names he dropped there on that one?
Silvers. That's Silvers. I'm looking for Silvers. And he said Rosenberg.
I'm just going to try to go back through my information here. Okay, so I'm right here. Potentially. This is no. Yes, it is. All right, we found it. A little bit of investigative work, but right there, the 17 going to tap Silvers there. Okay, so let's re-queue it up here. So that's going to be the 17. Let me just go ahead. The 91 is going to go around. So that's a Rosenberg there. So I want to get it queued up with the 91 here. Just up the racetrack a little bit. 17's going to get a run. Yep, there it is. And here comes Thompson. A little bit of damage, but doing a good job getting it checked up. So not a lot of heavy damage there. I don't know why SDK didn't want to tell us that we had a car around on the racetrack, but a little bit of investigative work. Got it done, and thank you, Mr. Thompson there. In the 3, we were able to go back, and we didn't miss some of the action on the racetrack, so appreciate that. So only our second caution of the race. Now you have basically it's going to be 2 races right now because now, you're about halfway through this one. You've had 2 cautions. You had you just had green flag pit stops. Some of the guys in the back now, like the 17, the 91, and the 3, were all cracking the top 10. Now got themselves in the back of the field. So now you have some fast race cars with half a race to go now. Got to find their way back through the field. So this one should get really interesting here, Tommy.
It definitely is. We're watching it unfold right in front of our eyes. I mean, yeah, we don't have an overlay that says this is interesting, but I tell you what, as we watch each one of these cars, we see it's interesting. If you're a race fan, if you know this track, you know these cars, you know this league, you know that we have entered the zone where it's like Thompson said, I'm going to drive like a madman now. Well, who else is going to drive like a madman? I'd say at least a third of these guys are probably thinking just like him.
Yeah, I think the intensity level is going to go through the roof here. And if you're Casey Carrington, there's another shot. You're now side by side. Does he stick it down into turn 1, Tommy, and keep it right on the door of the 63? Could this be his best opportunity to see some fresh air here and get that 9 car out there? We are back away. Going to go ahead and complete lap 44. Lap 45 on deck. The 63 gets a good start there getting into the corner, so the 9's not even going to have the opportunity.
He's not. Curtis White was not playing around there.
It was get out of Dodge time.
He said, I'm the lap leader, and I'm going to keep leading.
Absolutely. As you see here now, the intensity level definitely picking up here on this restart. So we get a look at Christopher Heller Jr. here in the 4. A lot of guys moving these cars around the racetrack right now. I think the 4 missed his mark a little bit more than he wanted to right there. Slid up, but got it pointed the right direction off the corner. Now the 16 going to make a move to the inside of the 11. Excuse me, that's Christopher Heller Jr. in the 16 there. Zach Rogers in the 4 car. I misspoke there. You see it there. They're looking down this straightaway. A lot of guys looking for the momentum, looking for the move. We got some blocking a little further back here in the back. Here, the 29 going to throw a big block on that car right there. That's the one of Justin Thompson, a guy we saw go around earlier who was well inside the top 15 when he suffered the damage in the spin. Now, he is, Stephen Miles. I'm over here just reading the wrong names. So Stephen Miles went around earlier there, and the 1 got that damage fixed. Now, he and the 3 of Justin Thompson, who we just spoke with, one of the guys say he's going to drive like a madman. You got to imagine for Miles, it's going to be the same thing. He was inside the top 15, now mired back in 26, got the damage fixed, and now it's go time. I mean, more than halfway through this race, if you're going to make a move, it's got to be now, Tommy.
I agree. And who's going to make a move? You know, like especially front pack. You know, we see our top 10. You know, but I want to know who's going to make a move in that top 10. Is it going to be the 9? Is it going to be Mullins, Stokes? I haven't figured it out just yet.
Well, the 16 just got moved right out of the way there. You saw it just at the corner of your screen there. Now the 16 going to fall quick back here in the pack. He is going to fall all the way back, losing a ton of positions here. Trying to find him in my running order. He's right back just a little bit further here on the outside of the 28. He's actually being scored. Oh, that was the 25, excuse me, that went for a slide. Looking like this similar paint schemes there. Losing a ton of spots right there. It's a big slide, but they hang on to it there this evening. Well, we got some guys up here in the chat. Want to check in with them. Peter's back to 13th, a strong recovery. Taylor still in the top 10, currently in the top 5 after his incidents. So let's see if that's still holding true right now. Taylor, yeah, up here in the 99, still inside the top 5. And up 99 now, not as much ground to make up. Now with this restart, inside the top 5, one of the guys just keeps chugging away, gets stronger on older tires now, just that much closer to the leader there, Tommy.
You're right. And looking at the points leaders and how this race is going to break it up just a little bit for them. You know, Justin Thompson is points. He's number 1 right now, and he's pushed back. LaFrance didn't even make the race apparently, and he's number 2.
Oh.
Curtis White's currently tied for 6. This is a big one for him.
Yeah, this could have huge implications on the points right here, especially with the 3 car mired back there in traffic. And some big moves, big slides, I should say, from the 99, and the 8's going to get a big run. Now the 97 as well. So just like that, how quickly your race is going so well in one just minor slide almost cost the 99 2 spots there.
Yeah, it did. He's probably he's happy right now.
Well, and another guy like is got in our comment section right here. We saw him with that 3 wide incident earlier, but now well inside the top 10 for Ken Robnett here in the 09, up 20 spots on the racetrack right now in that top Chevrolet, continuing his march to the front. Oh, another slap on the wall there for the 99. Maybe the handling going away a little bit on that 99. The tire's not really agreeing with that car as he has another slide there. He just needs to get back into that rhythm that he was doing earlier. And you look here, again, for a guy in traffic back here, still putting up a competitive lap time to the guy who's led almost every single lap of this race. I should say every green flag lap with the exception of green flag pit stops there. Curtis White just continuing to dominate here. But, you know, I got to give credit to the 9 and the 64 and the 66. Their top four really have not changed. They have been the top 4 drivers of this race, you know. And we have found them for a majority of this race right here as the 8 is now putting pressure on the back bumper of the 66. Both of them a little sideways. The 8 slapping the wall, but the 8 continuing to carry that momentum. He's to the inside of the 66. Gets close there. Drag race down the back straightaway. Trying the side draft, if you will, there. Gonna make it work just a little bit. But now a little lower entry into the corner. Can the 8 make it sticks as the 66 drifts up the racetrack? Maybe the business decision there for the 66. You see how sideways it got him there as he's out of the groove. I think he was just trying to let the 8 go, but unfortunately found himself sliding up the hill. Going to lose 2 spots, and like we saw with the 99, one little slide, and it could be catastrophic with these long straightaways, Tommy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And as soon as that happened, you seen the 99, he didn't hesitate. He knew he was going to be able to get that position, and he took it as quickly as he could. And right behind him in the 09, you got Rob Nett. He's up 20 spots right now, and I'm not seeing Rob Nett on the leaderboard for points, so he might be one of those reserve drivers you were talking about. Looking into it a little bit more.
All right. Well, you know, if he is a reserve driver, whoever he's might be substituting for, I don't want to misspeak, as I'm getting real close there with the 11. Don't want to see these guys turn each other if we're having a good race, but they're leaning on each other's door now out of 4. But if he is a reserve driver, now you could see a big move here from the 4. He's going to go down with the 11, try to push him by. But, hey, if you're going to miss a week and you have a buddy who has a craft like Ken here, like, kudos to the driver who picked him, because he knew who he was putting behind the wheel of this thing, and he's putting it on out here right now.
Oh, yeah. Looking like one of them AWR drivers, if you ask me.
I don't know about that. He might be facing the... No, I'm just kidding. Out there. Well, these guys continue to get it done out here this evening. Get a look a little further back here in the pack. Get a look here at Mike Hugsby here and Craig Martin, 2 Canadians here in the league this evening. As we got to looking like we might have some guys on pit road, looking like the 20 maybe making an unscheduled stop here.
Yeah, I was in that Hot Wheels car too. Just
I am seeing a little right side damage. Oh, did he have a penalty?
It looked. He might have, and it looked like he might have actually touched the wall on pit road there, but I didn't have the greatest angle there at the time, but it looked like he might have touched it with that right quarter panel, or that right front fender there.
Well, one of the interesting
definitely got damaged.
One of the interesting things that I found pretty unique for this series, and it's awesome the admin team just does it this way here. Any drivers that cause a caution can claim an EOL. If they know that they are the reason for the yellow, they can just take the EOL. Or if they want to risk it and they don't think they were at fault, it then goes to the board to be reviewed like the MOTD series does, and penalties can be a lot stiffer if it has to go under review. So I think that's pretty awesome. I think that's something maybe a couple more leagues should adopt.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds, that's a, everybody's out here racing, but that's a test to your character, to your integrity, and within a league, you want everybody to be competitive, you want everybody to fight. At times you need them to even talk trash if it comes down to it, but you want people to have integrity, and by doing that, it's rewarding guys with good integrity versus those that maybe don't have it. But at the same time, every racer usually thinks they're in the right.
Yeah, that for sure. When you're door-to-door racing, and maybe a guy's hanging on your quarter panel, just won't let you by. Sometimes you might get a little aggressive. He might go and turn around. You may have made a move that put him in a bad position that leads to the yellow. You want to bring it up to the board, but like you said, by opting to just say, you know what, I'm not sure. I don't want to take this stiffer penalty or hurt myself next week with needing a drive-through or a one-lap hold and putting yourself in a hole. You know, with only, especially 2 cautions, if it was one of the earlier wrecks that happened in the race, you know, giving you some ownership to just say, hey, that was on me. I'll take the EOL. And I think that, like you said, the word integrity, that's huge because it keeps everyone honest on the racetrack and maybe prevents guys from, you know, with a couple laps to go, just going in and saying, I need this spot, trying to move a guy and turning him because, you know, you could be in the top 10 and then all of a sudden you're like, well, you know, this penalty is going to hurt more than this finish here tonight. I still got a couple laps to make something happen. You know, I absolutely love that rule. I think that's fantastic.
I agree. And we're a little bit behind. We typically have this thing with about 25 laps to go. We try to make our picks as broadcasters of who we think is going to win the race. Right now, I mean, should we even do it? I mean, I think you're going to say Curtis White. I think I'm going to say Curtis White.
Yeah.
But this is a big race. Points-wise, looking at Carrington, he's ran second pretty much all night. He's sitting back in points at around 20. This is going to be a big jump and a big momentum change for him. So kudos to Carrington. We're pulling for you. Love to see Carrington make a big push there with Curtis White. But he's probably like, hey, man, I'm 20th in points. A second-place finish right now is outstanding.
I have to agree with you on that one, but at the same time, now back within 0.6 of a second, you've been riding second behind the same guy all night long. He's right there, Tommy. He's right there. And like you said, it's a big points day, but how tempting would it be for the driver of the 9 to just push it just a little harder, especially with probably still going to need a green flag pit stop at this point, to just say, on this last stint here, I'm going for it, you know, and just pushing it, risking it. You still have a good majority of the season. Tommy, if you're in his spot, what are your thoughts? I mean, are you going for it, or are you being happy with the points? The competitor in me would say, I'm tired of seeing the back bumper of this AM/PM 63. I want to get up here and catch him. I need to find something to make it happen.
You're right. That's exactly what you're going to say, because you're usually always in the top 5, top 10 in points, whereas I'm more like Carrington. I'm more in that 20 mark. So for me, I think I'm probably going to say, hey, team, I know y'all might want me to go for it, but we're going to stay where we're at as long as everything plays out the way it is right now. But if for whatever reason, you know, there was somebody, you know, slip up, I think Carrington's going to make a push for it quick. And then that's where all the emotions are going to kick in.
Absolutely. These guys have been putting on one heck of a show. We are seeing some guys starting to make their way on pit road here. So Stephen Miles there in that one, going to lead the march on. The 06 is in as well. So we are about in that window now to make it on fuel. But also, for the most part, it seems like as soon as about the 20 lap to go, or 20 laps in a stint or so, that's where these guys are comfortable on their tires. You're seeing Michael Mullins now pitting from 4th. Ken there in the 9, getting on the pit road, slides that right front just a little bit here. The 91 on as well. So now, if you are Curtis White, the 9 beat you to pit road last time. You've been dominating this one, even on older tires. Do you let him make the first move saying, hey, I can still beat him with older tires? I did it the last green flag pit stop. Or are you saying, I want to ensure that I stay ahead of the 9 car, and I don't want to be beat to pit road, and then vice versa for the 9. You saw him, he did make up about 0.8 of a second by pitting 1 lap sooner. Right now, that is the gap to the leader. Does he try to say, maybe I'll try to sneak 2 laps on him? There's only 20 to go. I know at the end of this race it might hurt, but if I can trap him in that dirty air, I might make him burn up those 2 lap fresher tires.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I'm looking at also as Curtis White's coming up on the back end of this field here. You know, what are they going to do there?
Absolutely. Some of these guys, some of these guys out here, well, right now, some of the guys going around the leader, like the one here who's on and off pit road, putting down faster laps. But now the 63 really has not been in any type of traffic at all. So now with older tires, some of the lap cars up here in front of them, does that now also change their strategy out here on the racetrack? Because now the 63 hasn't seen dirty air all race long. So now, again, the competitor in me, the 9 car, I've been in dirty air this whole race. I'm now hoping the 63 slips up, that it's something he hasn't experienced all race. Now might be my chance to pounce. And right now he's made up 0.2 of a second with the lap cars in front of him.
Yes, he has. Oh, 9 just got loose there also. I thought he was going to hit the wall, but he saved it.
Still hanging on. He was one of the guys on and off of pit road as well. You had some other guys in your top 5. I should say, yeah, pretty much the status quo, if you will. Top 5 for this race. From 3rd on back to 5th, the 66, 64 have been on and off pit road a lot earlier than your 2 leaders. The 9 is going to get on pit road. He's getting everything he can right now. Does a great job not sliding the front tires. You see in the rest of the field here that most of the top 5 coming in with. So the 9 once again going to beat Curtis White on pit road here this evening. So with 17 laps to go, is that the difference maker now for the 9? Trying to just get in 1 lap before Curtis.
It could be, and as they going in, they're obviously not going to take a full tank at this point. So, is Curtis White tracking how much fuel he's going to be taking versus the 9 car? Is one of them going to slide the pit just a little? It's a big deal right now. As we see when the 63 hits pit road, we'll really get a good idea of how those 2 pit stops really competed against each other.
The 9 forces in. Oh, the 63. Woo! He was kind of facing towards the inside wall there. Worried me there for a minute. But again, I think the 9 forcing the 63 on a pit road, seeing just 1 lap difference there. Like you said, I saw 4 tires going on the 9 machine there. But does he maybe not put in that last gallon or 2? Because in this series, and these cars here, when those left side tires, when that jack drops, sometimes the sim makes you sit there for that extra second and a half to finish filling the tank. So is one of them going to play the cat and mouse game? Hey, I packed her full of fuel. Or maybe, hey, I took 2 gallons less just to get that extra couple tenths on pit road to make up time. Seeing 4 tires on so just like that, yeah, so the 63, as soon as that jack dropped, he was out. So we saw a little bit of a delay on the 9, just a tad on the 9 before when that jack dropped, and he took off. Right here is the 9 right now. You see the 63 out there. You see how much ground the 8 car made up by pitting 2 laps sooner than the 9. So the 63 is going to get out here just in front of the 9, but the 9's going to still have the momentum. Does he make the big move? He does. He's going. Did the 3 and 4. Here comes Casey Carrington to the inside of the 63. So the 1 lap sooner pit stop, putting the 9 in front of the car he has been chasing all evening long. Now Casey Carrington to the lead and the 14 laps to go. This one's going to get really interesting. The 63 has been strong all evening long. We saw him start to lose just a little bit of his lead when he got into traffic. Now the 63 with 15 laps to go, not experiencing something that he's had all race long, which is dirty air. But out of all that, still, Tommy, they're not the leaders right now. The 17 just making his way on pit road. The 38, likewise. The 28 as well, and the 44. I gotta believe the 12 will be in next time by, so John gonna go back out here and lead himself a lap. But if the yellow flag happens to fly, this could change everything. You know, the 2 leaders just pitted, but some of these guys have already put 5-6 laps on these tires. If one of the guys now inside, if you're the 8 car sitting in 3rd, if you make that hint to pit road, do you drag the rest of the field with them? And now the top 3 will be out there on older tires. This could literally change everything, as the 9 now starting to gap the 63. He's opening up to 0.5 of a second. Wow. The whole dynamic for the lead had just changed.
It all changed, but it didn't just change now. It happened on pit row like we said it was going to. Casey Carrington went into pit row and came out at 11.5 seconds. Now, Curtis White, on the other hand, he was at about 14.5 seconds.
Ooh.
So there's a 3-second difference between the 9 and Curtis White.
Yeah, we'll try to get a look at it
pit road
right here. We're just going to wait for it to update. You can see the slight difference right there between Carrington and White on and off pit road there. We'll try to see that this is going to be their length from the time they got to the commitment cone to the time they got to the pit exit. We have Carrington's at a 50.7. We're waiting maybe one more lap for White's to appear. We'll get a look at that. Just even making sure you are at your max lights on pit road, whether you got into the box harder than the guy before, whether you got out of the box a little bit harder, you had less tire spin, is all going to matter. I mean, it's not just the pit length of the crew there, Tommy. It's also a lot to do with the driver. How hard did you push it getting onto pit road? We saw the 63 really getting after it. Did he have to get on the brakes harder than he wanted to, and then get himself under the pit road speed and then have to jump back up? That slight 3-4 miles an hour coming onto pit road can equal 0.5 second by the time it's all said and done when you're back under green.
It did look like that. We saw it. It looked like he probably got on the brake just a little bit too much. It looked like that front end turned on him. We saw it. It was facing the wall there for a split second.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he saved it, and he's still back in P2 right now. But the 9 car, Casey Carrington, coming through in the clutch. We're coming up on 10 laps to go, and he's got quite a bit of distance in between him and Curtis White.
Yeah, he's continuing to stretch it over Curtis White right now. Now has it up to 0.9 of a second, almost a full second here. So the 9 stuck with the 63 all race long in his dirty air, but now the 9's got nothing but clean track in front of him, and he's starting to gap the guy who's dominated this one.
Yes, he has. And it makes me wonder, I would need to take a look more in depth, and maybe I will there after the race, to see, like, hey, what did Casey Carrington take? Did he just take the correct amount of fuel that he needs? Did he take any tires? What did Curtis White take? Because looking at, like, he spent 24 seconds on pit road his last time around, but he's just sitting in 3rd. Curtis White, who did a 14.5, is still sitting in P2, but
well, we see it here up on the graphic, Tommy. Carrington, 0.4 of a second, which, I mean, to people who aren't in racing, you're like, really? That's it? 0.4 of a second difference by the time they got to the commitment line to pit exit there. 0.4 of a second. Remember, he was only 0.6 of a second under green flag behind the 63 car, and then he had 1 lap fresher tires, so he turned a lap probably almost at 1.2 seconds faster than the 63 did when him staying out there. So the difference could be right around 1.5 seconds, and that's all it took to get the 9 car the lead as they went into turns 3 and 4.
It just makes me, wonder, this 9 car, who he's sitting around 20th in points right now, I think, in the league, and he's in 20th place, and he's driving, this Brickyard like like a pro right now. He just sat back and patiently let Carrington lead over 50-something laps, and then when the time came to down to it, he pounced. He hit an outstanding pit stop and then shot out to the lead, and now he's starting to gap Curtis White, the 63 car.
Yeah, now has led 6 laps in this one, and right there, 60 laps. So if the 63 cannot reel him back in less than 9 laps, how much of a heartbreak then is it for the driver of the 63 to have dominated this one and come up just a little bit short? Not saying that's going to happen, but with now coming up to 8 laps to go, it's looking like that could be the case.
Oh, it's definitely going to be the case, and it's horrible for a driver to finish P2 and then not be able to sleep tonight because he's thinking about that pit stop, everything. That's what a racer does. They think about what they messed up on.
Absolutely, yeah. P2 is in this field right here with guys over 5,000 I rating, a ton of guys that ride around 4K. You got some 5600s in here, some really, really impressive drivers, high I rating. And, if you're Curtis, like you said, you finished P2, or you could, there's still laps to go. There still could be mistakes made. A yellow flag could change everything. But P2 has got to feel like dead last to him after just leading this whole thing. So we're going through here. Kyle Ether again with his pit stop. He made up a couple spots on the racetrack back to where he started in P3. Michael Mullins continuing to just stay inside the top 5 here. I know we haven't really talked much about him. I know we've noted his good run here, but still keeping that car inside the top 5 continuously throughout this one. A great, solid performance for Mullins there. Two guys we have spoke about quite a bit tonight. The 09 car of Ken Robnett here, he is inside the top 5. He has made up 22 spots on the racetrack. And Dayton Taylor, a guy we have notated about a couple times in this race, just outside the top 5. I do want to go back here. We heard him say he was going to drive like a madman, and he is back up to 13th position right now. The 3, your current points leader, in a battle, though, with the 4, trying to get his way back inside the top 10, salvage a good point stay after, an incident with half the race gone by. It was restarted somewhere around the 28th position, made his way, but now has he burned his stuff up because now a couple guys getting by him out here on the racetrack. Another guy, Steven Miles, got wrecked, did not get the yellow flag, but he is recovering. He is solidly inside the top 10 right now. A great recovery for the driver of the 1 sitting in P8 right now. So some guys that had trouble and have climbed their way back through the field here. We're going to look a little further back at some of these guys. The 97 looked like he has some significant right front damage coming on and off pit road. That is going to hurt the finish for the driver of the 97, who seemed to have had a solid run going, but back down on the apron, wondering if that car is just too badly hurt for him to continue. Well, as the laps are winding down here, Tommy, we're coming to, we just crossed 5 to go here. The 9 now kind of holding pace with the 63. The 63 not falling much, but also not catching him here. We'll get a look at their last laps here. The comparison, pretty close, but about a half a second slower than the leader last lap there, Tommy.
Yes, it is. And I mean, at this point, he's run this car, hard all night. He led. I just checked. He led 54 laps of this race, and I think at this point, he's not really getting pressured too much by P3 and Ether, and it's looking like we're looking at our top 5 as it's going to play out here, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's heartbreaking to see Curtis White drop to P2, but at the same time, that is an outstanding finish. But the biggest props to Casey Carrington and the way he shot up here.
Well,
crossing our fingers and knocking on wood that we're not jinxing anybody.
Well, that last lap around, and remember, 1 lap fresher tires, but also in dirty air, that last lap around, He grabbed half a tenth, or about 1/100th of a second back from Casey Carrington, but with only 4 laps to go, that's not going to be enough for the guy who has dominated this race right now. Now it has closed up to 1.1 seconds. He was around the 1.2, now in the 1.7s, getting a little bit of that draft, getting in the straightaway. But their lap times kind of matching here now. Now Casey beats him by 3/100ths of a second, so these guys matching lap times, and unfortunately for the guy who has led the good part of this race, that is not going to be enough, because the 5th annual Brickyard 200, right now belonging to the 9 of Casey Carrington here. But, you know, I am seeing some shadowing on the racetrack as well. I can't wait to, hopefully these guys, we can get a word in with our entire top 5, but I am noticing some shadowing on the racetrack. Could that have also played a factor into maybe some slightly different handling there for the 63 car? We are 2 laps to go from the Brickyard.
And Casey Carrington made up a little bit more time. He's now pushing the 1.3, so he's stretching that lead just a little bit more.
He is. We'll get a look on board from the leader's perspective. Little bit of a slide there off of turn 2, but smooth sailing. You see absolutely nothing in front of this driver here as you get a great look from the right front, diving it off in the corner. As long as that wheel doesn't point to the right, he is in the catbird seat here right now. Gonna go ahead and get it through turns 4. Right now, we said this is the part of the racetrack you want to be better at right now as he's coming down the line here. He is going to be taking the white flag. We are 1 lap to go for the All-American Cup Series. Casey Carrington needs 4 smooth corners to prevail in this one. The 63 of Curtis White dominated this race early and late, but the 9 finding a way on and off pit road to not only catch the 63, but dive it off into turns 3 and 4, Tommy, and take the lead on the back straightaway. Still nothing but clean track in front of the driver of the 9, getting it down into turns 3. Smooth sailing, no pressure out the back. 1.3 seconds back to the 63. He's got 1 corner left, Tommy.
It's game, set, match. Casey Carrington in the 9 car with the big time win.
So the 5th annual Brickyard 200. He rode second most of the day, but not at the end. Casey Carrington will win from Indianapolis here this evening.
Yes, sir. You know, those Valvoline guys are going to be happy seeing their car going across the checker there, taking the win.
So Casey Carrington grabbing tonight's victory there. Congratulations to him. A heartbreaking P2 for Curtis White here as he's going to get to the back bumper of the 9. Show him a little bit of love, a little bit of respect. These guys raced each other clean and hard, but the 9 prevails. Kyle Ether, Michael Mullins, and Ken Robert here rounding out your top 5. We will get your official results here in just a moment. There, Tommy, let's see if you can get on there in Discord and dial up tonight's winner.
Let's see.
Oh, the 80, the 08 car going to drill the end of pit road right there as it come down. But the evening belonging to the 9 of Casey Carrington. Gonna go ahead and get it down at the start-finish line. Gonna burn it down here on the start-finish line from Indianapolis. The 9, Casey Carrington, getting it done here this evening. Were we able to find our leader down there?
As of right now, it's not looking like he's in Discord.
All right, so the 9 hiding from us here tonight. Well, I do see the driver of the 63 down there, so go ahead and see if you can get him into the waiting lobby as we watch the 9 burn it down here this evening. Let's go ahead and pull up the final results for this evening's 200-miler from Indianapolis. Casey Carrington grabbing the win. Curtis White, Kyle Ether, Michael Mullins, Ken Robnett, Dayton Taylor there continuing his march forward, gets P6. Matthew Weeks, Stephen Miles coming all the way back to grab 8th. Thomas Stokes and Christopher Heller Jr. rounding out your top 10 here this evening as we get a look through the rest of the finishing order here this evening. Tommy, what are your thoughts on this one?
This was my first time seeing these guys run, and I was impressed. We only had a couple, 2-3 wrecks, if that, and they're running Gen 4 cars. They're running here, the Brickyard. I mean, only 3. I feel like that's outstanding. I'm impressed. I am having trouble moving Curtis up. I think you can do it.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can go ahead and get Curtis back up here. We had a word with him earlier. Where is he hiding at? Where I'm trying to.
Here he is.
Oh,
I got him in.
Oh, you got him. So, Curtis, a great evening for you. Is it? I can't even ask. Is it what you wanted? Because we all know it's not. But a strong race. Is it a heartbreaking P2? Are you still happy for a good point stay and finishing second?
Well, it's definitely a lot more than what I expected heading into this race.
Well, there you go. There's a positive way to look at it.
But I'd be lying. I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed, because I very much am. Because, man, I felt like I had that one in the bag. Because clean air with this car at this track just meant so much. Like, you got a car in clean air, you're pretty much untouchable. Because I did not feel like I was running the best laps out there, especially in the long run. I was just kind of managed the best I could. And even then, I still felt like I missed the apex just enough times to where Casey was still keeping up with me. So I was just really just hoping that he would get in my dirty air and just get really tight, and I would be able to hold down the spot. But
Well, it looks like he beat you out of pit row
He
on that
did.
last
That's-
pit by
that's
about
what it came
3
down to.
seconds. And we were watching you as you were entering pit row. Did you maybe get on the brake just a little bit too much? Did you woe it up too much and then have to speed back up to pit speed as you were entering? We weren't quite sure.
I would say that's probably what it was. I didn't feel like it in the moment. I felt like my pit entry was good enough. Like, it wasn't really like a on the money kind of stop. Like, I felt like it was a really good stop. Like, I heading into my box and whatnot, I thought I did a good enough job. I thought I had enough of a gap on Casey to where whatever time he was going to make up on me on the undercut, because he ended up hitting a lap before me, and I was really hoping that I wasn't going to let that happen, but he still managed to get the undercut on me. I felt like if I just covered him off on that, I probably would have been able to still have the lead. I just thought that if I could still run another lap, whatever tire advantage I would have coming out of the pits would still be enough to hold him off. But I got to give Casey his flowers, because he nailed that last sequence. Like, that's pretty much what won him the race, and not just the undercut, but just being outright faster when it really mattered. And I think it really showed once he got the reins to the clean air. He really showed what he really had, because once I got out into the dirty air, I had to adjust, and just wasn't enough.
Well, I know it's a disappointing P2, but P2 is nothing to hang the hat on. Again, led the most laps here this evening. Put on one hell of a show for us up here on the broadcast. Appreciate you taking the time out of the night to chat it up with us.
It's a hell of a lot better than finishing 39. That's where I was last week.
Yeah,
But no, I gotta.
a big
Before I
turnaround.
get let loose, Before I get let loose here, I gotta shout you guys out for putting this on, because we didn't have anybody before today. I don't know when this was put together, but appreciate you guys for doing this. Appreciate Casey for putting up with us as much as we've been getting them headaches every week, because it hasn't been great. But hopefully a race like this, and even like our finale at Darlington, races like this can hopefully get us back in the right direction, because that was a very well ran race. We only had 2 cautions, which I was not expecting. I thought it was going to be another caution fest, but thankfully mostly everyone was able to keep it together. And also all my teammates at RPM, Michael Mullins, Thomas Stokes, Elijah Cole, and even Xavier, because we got all of us qualified in the top 5, and we all got in the top 10. And Eli got up to 14th after having to start from the pit, so he made up a ton of ground, so he deserves a huge shout out there too.
Yes, well, awesome. Thank you so much for checking in with us here, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Good luck going forward, Curtis.
Well, Tommy, he has found his way. Tonight's race winner is with us. Grab the checker flag. Casey, break it down for us. You're riding behind the 63 all race long. Tommy and I were talking. I was saying this last stint and on and off pit road, you've been looking at AM, PM all night long. This is where I would absolutely push my hardest. I know P2 is a good solid points day, but be it just close enough to see that leader. For me, the inner competitor in me was really hoping you pushed it, and boy, you did. What did it take? You beating the 63 to pit road, but also your time on and off pit road. And talk about that move that you made heading into turn 3 to capture the lead, and once you were there, you never relinquished it.
Yeah, I mean the old Valvoline pit crew, I think, really won the race for us today. But yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe I was gonna have a shot at getting around him on the first green flag pit stop, and he came out well ahead of me. So I really didn't have too much optimism there on the final stop. The dirty air in this car is just something, man. I mean, you can pass further back in the field, but at a flat single groove track like this, the leader has such an advantage, as you all saw tonight. I mean, it was hard to just keep up with the leader, much less get around him. So I knew my only chance was going to be able to just, like you said, perfectly execute on and off pit road. And evidently that second time was a charm, and I was able to do it. And I was expecting him to defend a little more going into 3 there when he came out of the pits, or whatever the situation. I guess he came out in front of me, and then I made the pass, but I knew once I got to his inside and I got down under the white line that I was gonna be able to hang on, and if my backup hotspot internet was able to hang together, and physically I could hold together and all that I was probably gonna be able to hang on and get the win.
Yeah, like you said, and we had just talked to Curtis. It wasn't like he had a bad stop. It's not like he really made a mistake. You just executed at its highest level there and just drove that thing into turn 3 and got that clean air. We usually give our race our predictions with about 20 or so laps to go. We were saying it's gonna be hard to not go with the 63, with it kind of looking like it was gonna be whoever got in that clean air. But we did mention, that last pit stop could change everything, and you executed flawlessly and then gapped even in the dirty air. You did a great job just staying right there within an arm's length of the leader. How did you just keep it there with the dirty air, just right there, close enough? Because it seemed like a good majority of the guys behind you, they would get just close enough, but the dirty air would disrupt them just enough where you guys, it was kind of just a race between you two all night.
Yeah, I've done so many Indy 500s on iRacing and have so many thousands of laps around this place, and probably the car right now that the dirty air feels worse than this is the Indy car. So I definitely know, the difference that even 6 inches to a foot can make in terms of getting your nose in clean air, and how to offset yourself from the guy in front of you to try to just, as you said, kind of the only option you have is to just stay close. You can't really make up ground unless they make a mistake. But that entire race I was driving as hard as I could. It may have looked like we were all just kind of cruising around, running single file, but I was turning hot laps that entire race, whether I was in first or second. And that really, like you said, kind of set me up and put me in position to be close enough within striking distance there on the last pit stop.
Well,
I think I may be cutting in and out. I don't know if I'm coming through solid. I know my hotspot's going bad. So.
It's not too bad. Well, Tommy, got anything for tonight's race winner?
Hey man, first of all, you sat back there patient. You came through in the clutch. You beat Curtis White coming off a pit row by 3 seconds, and that ultimately was the difference maker. And then once you got out there, you just kept pulling forward, just kept pulling away from him, just little by little, the rest of the race there. And you know, on behalf of myself and Craig, congratulations. This is our first broadcast with you guys, and it was a blast to see 2 cautions here at the Brickyard 200. I was impressed, and I'm sure all the guys watching on YouTube and all those that will watch are going to be impressed. So, big shout out to all you guys. Big shout out to all the league drivers. You guys did great, man.
Yeah, and I guess I'll go ahead and do my shout outs here before my internet goes out. Shout out to you guys for coming in. I mean, extremely last minute. I had no idea until Craig sent me the message. You guys coming in and giving us a spot broadcast here. Spur of the moment is what I mean. Awesome. This is my first win this year in the league, so
You picked the right one, huh?
Yeah, I guess when the spotlight's on me is when I perform, because my last win was the final race of 2024. So anyway, big shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody that watched the broadcast. Hope they had a good time. I know it wasn't super exciting up front because of but I mean, hey, that's the Brickyard. I mean, you ask anybody in real life, that's what they talk about. It's hard to pass at Indy and in a stock car. So I guess it's realistic. But shout out to all the drivers. Like you said, 2 cautions. We had a terrible race last week at Michigan, so that was a big turnaround for us I don't even want to remember how many cautions we had there, but shout out to all of them. Shout out to, like I said, all the league drivers, and once again, shout out to you guys for coming on board for the broadcast.
Appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come in here and have some fun with you. Hopefully, we get. You know what, Tommy? Let's just sign up and do it again next week. What do you say?
I'm available. I'm game.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win there tonight, Casey.
Thank you very much.
Well, Tommy,
there you have it. The 9.
We
got Kyle.
Yeah,
Kyle Ithier up there too.
Yeah, we have our top 3. Right before we bring in Kyle, though, I do want to mention when I was talking to Casey earlier, he was saying he was feeling pretty under the weather, tested positive for COVID. So, hey, maybe what the doctor ordered, a little feel good there. As he said, he's grabbed his first win of the year while feeling under the weather and executed on a high level. But let's bring in our P3 finisher here of the night, right where he started the race, but having to make up some ground there, Kyle, in that last pit stop. You pitted a little sooner than some of the guys were able to hang on to it.
Yeah, thanks. Tried to get ahead of him. Track position, I think, was everything. If I could have got the clean air, I think I got a shot to stay ahead of him. I was pretty good on those long runs. Gave it everything I had on the older tires there, though. But I can't believe how fast I was. This is my best run at the Brickyard, so exciting.
Yeah, like you said, we did notice your strength there on the older tires. So was that part of the strategy then to pit earlier, get those hot laps in there, but knowing you're able to defend on older tires probably better than some of the rest of the field?
Yeah, I figured. I think that the guys right behind me had pitted the lap before me anyway, so I kind of figured the only way I was going to have any chance to beat Casey or Curtis was to try to off-strategize them a little bit. So, I don't know. I think if they stayed out one more lap, I think I could have got ahead of them. But, yeah, I mean, it was a great race.
Well, you guys put on one hell of a show there. Anybody you want to give a shout out? Well, let me turn the mic over to Tommy here. You got anything for Kyle here, P3 finisher tonight?
Hey man, just sitting there watching, you were like just kind of hanging back, you were staying out of, you were kind of out of the spotlight. You were just cruising the whole race. You were just cruising, and you finished on the podium, a P3. Those points are going to be big for you. And congratulations, man. You guys put on a show.
Yeah, thanks. I was just looking at the points. I think I'm back up to P4, so just got to keep clicking off some good runs. And yeah, just kind of being methodical is kind of my thing in this car. If I try run hard, I end up burning the right front off pretty bad. So I've kind of historically been a tire saver. So finally got some long runs this week, and perfect for the broadcast. And yeah, just awesome to be able to stay up there and have a good run at the Brickyard. I'm usually pretty good at Pocono, so this is kind of a Pocono-ish type track, so
Yes.
I guess it just kind of suits me.
especially in these Gen 4. It definitely is very, very similar in a lot more banking in turns 1 and Pocono, but 2 and 3 very flat, long straightaways, and especially in these Gen 4 cars. You hit the nail on the head there. If you're a driver who your driving style is able to just manage your tires, those 2 tracks you're able to just absolutely nail, and you did it tonight there by putting it on the podium. Kyle, before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to, some teammates out there?
Yeah, shout out to the Laser Racing boys, Matthew and Steven. Solid run. Steve, man, Miles, what a fight back. I think he got turned earlier, was dead last at one point, ended up 8th, so shout out to him.
Yeah, a great recovery
shout out
for
to,
Steven there.
Oh, yeah. He needed that for the points as well. And I think we're right up there in the team points now. I think we're within 10 for Cornerstone, so we're right there. But yeah, just shout out to the boys. Our other teammate AB wasn't here tonight, so shout out to him. He's been running well when he's been here, and yeah, shout out to you guys for coming on and putting this broadcast on, man. This league, I feel like, has been one of the premier Gen 4 leagues, so I feel like it's always needed a broadcast, and happy to have you guys on. And yeah, shout out to Casey for continuing to put on these races, man. He does a great job.
Well, appreciate you taking the extra time to chat it up with us. Good luck. Hopefully we're here with you next week because, Tommy, I definitely want to, see the updated point standings because, boy, this could have mixed it up. I also want to look at those team standings and, the show you guys put on here tonight, Kyle, looking forward to next week.
Yep. Thanks. Same to you guys.
Well, Tommy, they said that, they alluded to, sometimes Indy could be pretty boring for us up here in the broadcast booth, even for it being a single lane racetrack, if you will. They still great entertainment though. Just the way these cars were sliding around, some of these guys just trying to make the moves through the dirty air, just get even, with the battles we had from 8th to 14th to even back in the 20s. All entertaining. I mean, they all put on one heck of a show. And at the end of it, with just a handful of laps to go, it all came down to pit road. And then, just some track position was king.
It definitely was. And, we seen it from the get-go. The qualification was key in this race. And, of course, the pit stops and so forth, paid, dividends for those that, really took advantage of, the right strategy there. But what I would say is, they spoke of some of their earlier races this year haven't gone as all that well, but they put on a clinic today.
Absolutely.
Like anybody that watches this broadcast can legitimately say, hey, these guys know what they're doing, and I can learn something from just watching this broadcast. I can learn how to run a Gen 4 at Indy. And people could say, oh, there wasn't very many wrecks. You're right, there wasn't, because these dudes really came out with the intent to drive their car and stay clean and make it to the finish, and every one of them did.
Yeah, and that's a test to not everything on the sim you can so there's some guys out there that I see with high I ratings that you're like, how in the world did you get that high? But these guys, I sense none of that. These guys all just, it's like they said, they alluded to, they had some, let's just call it quote unquote shit shows earlier in the year, especially what Casey was alluding to there at Michigan. But tonight with this car, on this flat of a racetrack with temps that weren't exactly the ideal temperatures that you would want to start this race with 900 horsepower, these guys, for only 2 cautions, we saw just how many cars were stepping out, but they're all hanging on to it, not just running over the guy in front of them when they lose momentum. Speaks volume to the skill that's in here. Sometimes some people can call this, quote unquote, a boring race because, that's side by side. They're not banging doors. But for me, I'm just going to speak for myself. Sometimes these races are the most entertaining ones because you get to see just pure skill on display. And I think they all displayed that very well tonight. As we're looking here just on the white flag lap, you see the 9 here just getting that left front down there. And the rear end looks like it's stepping out on that thing, but he's got that thing well under control. That is the perfect slide there up off turn 2 that you want as a leader to keep your momentum in these Gen 4 cars. So, Tommy, I didn't see anything boring about this race. I think this was, if you're going to host the league and you're going to have a ton of high I rating and skill level drivers, this is exactly what you wanted to see.
Absolutely. I can't say how much recruiting, those guys did for the league here, but it sounds like Casey Carrington and those guys, they picked some real good guys. I mean, Carrington was, running this show, and it looks like, and he's sitting P20, and then, I don't know what to say. At the end of the day, he says, I was sick, and first broadcast of the season, I think, and he wins. I mean, man saying he's Mr. Showtime, I guess, comes through in clutch and when the lights are on. But it was great. I look forward to broadcasting these guys running again for sure.
Absolutely. And you know what I'm thinking here, Tommy? I'm thinking Nick Bauman, Juan Escamilla, Trevor Haley would fit very nicely into this league. What do you think?
Well, I think they would fit in, for sure. Those guys can drive with anybody. So the question is, are you insinuating that you might be able to pull some guys like those dark horse boys to race in leagues like this? Because that would throw a big wrench in things. And heck, man, Vegas would probably want to bet on that.
Yeah, I know those guys do enjoy hopping in those Gen 4 cars. Nick and Juan especially love loose race cars, and with the schedule that these guys have up and coming, I'm not sure if they're taking on drivers, but I think this is something, if they go back and watch the broadcast as well, that they would be all about this style of racing. And like we said here, as we're taking a look at Casey here on the slow-mo last lap, he's coming down to grab the checker flag here this evening. But I do want to bring up what is up and coming for the All-American Cup Series. So we just grabbed the 5th annual Brickyard 200. Then they are going to head to what I think, I'm going to call him the road course merchant. Juan Escamilla absolutely loves Watkins Glen. Personally, as a driver, I am not the greatest. I am a solid driver at Watkins Glen. I think it is one of the most fun tracks to get on this simulator and get in, whether it's a Gen 4, the next gen, or a GT3. That is a bad, fast road course. So looking forward to, hopefully we can broadcast that one for them. Dover, Talladega, Kansas, and Richmond before the break. So just a wide variety of tracks where we might, maybe that's a track then we're heading to. Maybe it's not Casey's strong suit. Maybe it's not the 63 strong suit. Maybe one of the guys we saw hanging mid-pack, they're a road course guy. But then we switch it up. We go back to a mile oval on the high concrete banks of Dover, which that is a very tricky and meticulous track, especially in a high horsepower, low downforce car. With these Gen 4s, that will be absolutely entertaining. Then you go and throw it on the super speedway of Talladega and these things. That could be just wild. I mean, these guys, if they display the skill there that they saw this evening, you could probably see 3 wide for the entirety of the race. And then they shrink it down back to a mile and a half at Kansas. And then maybe, if the tempers were high from Talladega, they give them a week to kind of relax, get back on a speedway, and then right before the Thanksgiving break, they slam them on a short track, Tommy.
I would be at the bottom of the list here with these guys. I would be just one step above the guy that didn't race that week.
Well, then after that, they go Atlanta, Rockingham, and Homestead. And I have turned quite a few laps in these Gen 4 cars at Atlanta. And I can tell you, if they are running the 2008 as is on the schedule, that track is so abrasive on tires that that is almost that race that I have done in those cars is almost how little time can you spend at full throttle? Because when I did the official week here, Tommy, with this Gen 4 cars, if you had long green flag runs, you could be going through the trioval and just that little bit of wheel input. If you were full throttle, you would spin out just because of how abrasive it was on those tires, where you would actually have to lift a little bit in the quad oval, if you will, in these Gen 4 cars. So I really hope we can stick with these guys here for the rest of the season, because they have just a wide array of tracks, and it should be a ton of fun. Well, that should just about wrap it up for us here this evening on the CSR broadcast channel, powered by Tommy Rogers' old Highline Racing Network for the All-American Cup Series. Again, check out Highline Racing Network's YouTube. It's an AI-generated sports center, if you will, focused around a lot of leagues out there. Maybe, Tommy, we can get involved with these guys and get some more Highline content for these guys to check out as well. Just want to give a big shout out also to the S&M series. They got a race going on right now, Super Speedway hosted sessions. Check them out. They start every night at 9 p.m. and then they usually do a second race, 50 laps at Talladega or Daytona, and then during the week. And then for the late night guys, they usually have a lobby going up around 11 or so o'clock. On the weekends, we throw up a wide variety of tracks, usually focused around the Gen 6 cars, a lot of full throttle and a lot of side draft in those cars. They're a ton of fun to have out there on the speedway. And then on weekends, the 9 p.m. sessions go up to 70 or 100 laps. If you check out the Discord, sometimes we have a little bit of money on the line, too, that some guys will donate out there, Tommy. So big shout out. Thanks again to you for coming up in the booth with us here this evening. Again, check out Highline Racing Network on YouTube as well, out there on TikTok land as well. For everyone watching on YouTube, Twitch out there tonight, Casey gets it done in the 9 machine. That'll wrap it up for us here at the CSR broadcast channel. Tommy, thanks for your time tonight. We will catch you guys on the next one.
Later, fellas.